Well, good afternoon. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I just saw, and maybe you all are already aware, that there was a mass shooting today in Fordyce, Arkansas. I thought I'd say a couple of things about that because I think that it could portend interesting times ahead. I didn't know anything about Fordyce, so I looked it up. It's a town in south central Arkansas. Population 3,000 something. It hit its height. This is from Wiki. Hit its height of 5,000 something some time back, and it's been dwindling. It's one of those towns, one of those small towns that's losing population every year, and that can bring a lot of problems. And we'll talk about that in a second. It's in a county, Dallas County, I believe I saw it say, in Arkansas, and the whole county only has a population of a little bit more than 6,000. Now, the information that I got from, and there's been, as always, there's a little bit of conflicting information coming out of the different reports. It's always the case in one of these situations. More information will come out. Right now, the latest that I saw was 3 dead, 10 injured. 2 of those injured were law enforcement. Apparently, they say one news source that I read said the guy was armed with a shotgun. Others didn't say, so maybe they're deciding what they want him to be armed with. Who knows? Um, and of course that can change at any time. We could get more dead, we could get more injured, we could get less dead and less injured. It's just one of those things. But it does fit the profile of a mass shooting. The surprising thing about this to a lot of people is that it happened in a town of this size, a very small town. Interesting thing also, I was going to make a one earlier today on a couple was just attacked and killed up in a little town in Nebraska by some maniac at a rest stop. They had been driving across the country. They were from Missouri, and I forget where they were going. I think they might have been going to Ohio. Now, they were up in Nebraska, and Nebraska is not between Missouri and Ohio, but maybe they were visiting friends. I don't know. But anyway, a guy, and they were towing their car behind their RV, and at 7 o'clock this morning, I think it was, some maniac with a knife went in after him and drug him out and started stabbing him, stabbed the woman in the head several times. She was 70, and threw her out of the RV, went after the guy, the husband, he's 72, I think, stabbed him in the head and the chest and everything, killed him. She's apparently still alive, going to make it. But the interesting thing about these things is, and I say that, I mean, and I don't mean to minimize this at all. It's just, those of us who have lived the life, we're not appalled, we're not astounded, we're not. I mean, it's what happens. So I say interesting in the point that, from an investigator's point of view, I say, okay, what's going on here? Why is this happening? They're going to be looking at the why. Apparently, and here's the surprising thing to me, the guy in Arkansas is still alive. Now, I don't know, maybe those boys down there need a little more time at the range, but I'm surprised, that he kills that many people and he's alive. What does this mean? What's the reason for this? They haven't come out with a motive. If they do, who knows what they're going to tell us, and who knows whether that's going to be the truth. We don't know, and we have to understand that we don't know. Okay, but it doesn't surprise me. It would surprise me if this doesn't pick up a little bit and continue to happen. Is this just the world going crazy now? Here again, I say that you have to consider all possibilities. In a small town, from just a short bit that I read about Fordyce, it's one of those towns that have been losing population. That means it's losing its tax base. That means that people don't want to live there anymore. Okay, and what that brings about is depression, lost jobs. Could this be the result of a divorce, of losing a family, losing a job? Who knows what? It could be anything. Um, and so my point is this: no matter where you live, I said earlier, the one that I made today, that people are always thinking about the big cities of being, so crime ridden. And I said on the one that I made earlier today, in all of my life, I'm 70 years old, in all of my life, except for the the time that I was actively law enforcement on the street, I have never seen a crime. Never. And I've lived in a big city and suburbs all my life. Doesn't mean that they don't happen. What it means is they don't happen nearly as often as people think. However, things happen so much more often in small towns, not more than they do in cities, but more than people think they do. Okay. So my warning here is don't think. Now, if you live in a small town or a rural area, you probably know what goes on in your small town. Okay. I was talking to a business owner that I know in Clinton, Missouri, not long ago, and he just says the crime is just rampant. They had 2 murders down there a couple of years ago in 1 year in a town of 10,000 when we didn't have any up here. So what I'm saying is this isn't, and please don't get into one of these. Well, comparing what's better, small town, suburb. Don't get into that, please. What I'm saying is, don't be swayed into thinking that the rural areas and the small towns are absolutely safe. Whether you live there, like these people, they were just going to the grocery store, and all of a sudden this guy with a shotgun comes in and starts shooting them up. 3 dead, 10 injured, including 2 law enforcement. Not that they're more special. I have never thought that law enforcement was more special. What I mean is that they are the ones who should be there to stop it, and apparently they did, which is good for them. But it means that things are getting out of control. Or whether you're traveling, like this couple up in Nebraska, people have this idea that we're traveling and it's safe. We're going to pull into this rest stop, and oh man, you have to be careful everywhere you go. And those of you who travel, you know that we travel a lot, and anytime anybody wants to go into a rest stop, first off, we never stay overnight, and I think maybe these people had poor decisions. Get into the next suburb and park it in a Walmart parking lot or something. Don't sleep. I don't care how many trucks there are there. Don't sleep in a rest stop. But anyway, we will see. We will find out what's going on with this down in Arkansas. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see more of these attacks, mass shootings in smaller areas. And you can say, is this the case of mental illness? Is this a case of stresses? Social stresses? Is this an FF? You know what I mean by that, right? We don't know. But we will see. Okay? So wherever you are, just stay safe. That's what I'm saying. Always stay safe. Be careful. Know what's going on around you. Always carry. Always be ready to defend yourself and others. Okay? All right. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So do so. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.